March of 2021, and her sheet mask line was launched this summer. It's called Love Jude. So, if you want to hear how to take care of your skin, then I think you will love this conversation. Thank you, Jude. It's just so wonderful to actually see you, to sort of meet you virtually. And I'm so looking forward to learning how to get clear, glowing skin like yours, because I'm looking at you now and I'm like, why not me? Why not me? So I think you're going to tell us today how we can all get clear, glowing skin. And so we're looking forward to that. So for the next 30 minutes, we will scoop up. I have my little pen handy to write some notes. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Can you tell us a bit about how you got started on your skincare journey and what contributes to your glowing skin?
Sure. So I've always been interested in skincare. My mother was very, very serious about her skincare all through my childhood. And so I had grown up watching her have her favorite products like her Clinique soap and her Olay moisturizers and all of that. As I got older, I finally started to have enough income to actually take care of my own skin and be able to experiment with products. And I came in at a really lucky time when there were a lot of blogs and there were a lot of internet communities forming around interests like skincare with people that were actually sharing their experiences. So I don't know how old you are, but for me, when I was younger, the only real information we could get about skincare was either from magazines, which are often paid for by advertisers, or we could go to a department store and get some tips from the salespeople who also have a vested interest in pushing certain products. This was kind of the first time that word of mouth and peer-to-peer education was really taking off. So that was in about 2010, I would say. I had just had my son, I was working a pretty good job, and I started to mess around with skincare a little bit. As I did that, because my background is in digital publications, I knew how to communicate with people online, and I really enjoyed writing about skincare. I had been just kind of participating in these communities, writing these like elaborate product reviews and kind of advice, different tips and tricks. And I found that I had inadvertently grown a following of people that were really asking me specifically what I thought about this product, what I thought they should do for their skin. So I started the blog and it just really took off from there.
Wow, that's great. So I've been following your blog and I love how you talk about the connection between skincare and our mental well-being or how we feel about ourselves. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, please?
Sure. So it had become really apparent to me as I developed my own skincare routine and stuck to it that there were a lot of benefits I was seeing in my mental health. I think there's something about the act of establishing this routine and sort of telling yourself that I will stick to this and I will do this, that is kind of a way of teaching yourself that you are worth the extra effort, that you're worth more than the bare minimum, and that your
Yeah.
happiness and your comfort in your own skin is valuable, and that over time compounds. It's sort of a daily affirmation. But I mentioned this a little bit in the blog post, and I've been talking a little bit more about it recently too. There, it's maybe a little bit disingenuous to say that we're mostly doing this just so that we can feel better inside, when there are some real practical benefits to taking care of our skin externally.
Yeah.
So we know, I think as adults, that confidence plays a really key role in what we can achieve in life. When we feel confident, we're more apt to accept opportunities as they come up or to put ourselves forward for the things that we want. We do live in a society where people can often feel judged or self-conscious or unhappy about the appearance of their skin because they worry about what other people will think of them. And
Yep.
it maybe sounds superficial, it sounds frivolous, but it is a reality.
Yeah.
That if we don't feel good about ourselves, according to the context of the society that we're in, we will hold ourselves back. Regardless, whether or not other people actually judge those things, our perception that they might will hold ourselves back. So I have found that I think it's important for us to acknowledge that And to say that, this is also important because if I feel better about myself and feel better in my skin, I can achieve more in life. I can be happier. I can accept invitations. I can go out more socially because I'll feel good about myself. So if someone feels bad about their skin, then that affects how much they're willing to put themselves out in their
Yeah.
own world. It's very, very worth investing in trying to change. Of course, in an ideal world, we can maybe change society so that this won't
Mhm.
be something that people have to worry about, but that's not work that's going to be successful in any short amount of time. In the meantime, life is still going on. The clock is
Yeah.
still ticking. Life is short. So we might as well do what we can to feel good about ourselves now in the world that we do live in.
So good, so good. I feel that message because I remember there are certain things I wouldn't do, like maybe go swimming or date the cutest guys because I think, oh, I'd have to take off my makeup. And then they would
Exactly.
see the zit.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
water will wash off my makeup. Oh, so yeah,
Yeah.
that is so good. So, can you give us an idea of a routine that will help us really take care of our skin and build that confidence, right?
Sure. So, of course, the specific products will be different depending on the person, your sensitivities, and your skin issues. But what I always suggest for people, and it's how I laid it out in my book, is to make sure that you have the foundational steps in place first. So we might think of face wash as very basic, right? Just get whatever soap, you're just cleaning your face, and that's all that it needs to do. It actually has a much bigger impact on the health and the appearance of your skin. So a lot of us are conditioned to want to wash our faces or our bodies with the strongest soap that we can find because we think, well, it'll get it clean, so that will help prevent breakouts. And we're also taught that like oil can cause breakouts, so we're sort of conditioned to want to use something really harsh to just like strip away all the oil from our faces. What actually happens when we do that is that we damage our skin's natural barrier against moisture loss and also against bacteria and other factors that can contribute to more breakouts and more skin issues and even irritation, eczema, psoriasis, anything that involves sensitivity. So the first thing I ask people to do is consider whether the face wash that they're using is gentle. Because
Mm.
if you're washing your face and it instantly feels really dry, I think we've all been there. You wash your face, it's like squeaky clean, but it feels so tight and so dry. That's not good. So what you've done is compromise that barrier. So now you're losing the moisture in your skin that contributes to its glow,
Mm.
and you're letting in things that can break your skin out or irritate them in the future. So ask people to look for a more gentle cleanser if they realize that the one that they're using may be a cause of problems, and find a moisturizer that's appropriate for their skin. So if you take some time, a couple of weeks with the right cleanser for your skin and the right moisturizer for your skin, it's sort of amazing how much the way your skin looks can change. Like, I think that
Mm.
was the first major change that I made to my routine. And even just changing cleanser and being more diligent with my moisturizer was enough to get my skin to a state where it looked substantially plumper, firmer, and more glowy. So we can say on like a very, very granular level, whether your skin is glowing or not, depends on the smooth surface that can
Mm.
reflect light, and it depends on the moisture in your skin because the water in your skin catches the light in a different way and it creates that specific look that we all love. So once those things are in place, you want to add sunscreen. The I think in terms of just overall health and really practical benefits, sunscreen is something that we can't skip because that is something that protects us from skin cancer and premature aging. But after that, there's so many treatment options available now for acne and for
Mm.
irritation and sensitivity. And that's kind of where the fun comes in and where it becomes really individual as people look for the solution to their problems. And one thing I will say for people that are struggling with acne is that a lot of times the solutions that are most commonly available to us and that are the most popular are very, very harsh. Things like
Mm.
benzoyl peroxide, for example, or sulfur treatments. They can work and they are effective for some people, but in other cases, the harshness may be working against you. So if we look at Korean and Japanese skincare, we can find more gentle anti-inflammatory and balancing options that may be able to reduce things like breakouts without also damaging your skin.
Oh, that's interesting. I wasn't aware that the Japanese skincare line was gentler.
Hmm.
Because yeah, it is quite a concern for people of color, right? That you don't want to
Yes,
get that excess pigmentation. So yeah, how do you balance
exactly.
that? Oh, so that's good.
Exactly. And I think that legally, the cosmetic ingredients are regulated differently in Korea and Japan than here. And some ingredients are either not allowed or much more strictly controlled there. So, for example, in Korea, they don't really use salicylic acid, which is a really common beta hydroxy acid that we see in treatments here. They use a gentler form.
Oh,
So, exploring those milder options as a first step, excuse me, sorry, exploring those milder options as a first step can help you maybe find a solution that's not as hard on your skin, because the more that our skin is irritated, the more likely it is that we will get dark spots and we will
right.
get scarring afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Jude has graciously sent us a link for a free gift. So I'm going to put that in the chat. But I invite her to tell us all a little bit more about the free gift. I'll just post it right
Sure.
here.
So I work with Holy Snails, which is an indie skincare line that's all handmade with scientifically backed ingredients by my good friend Shell. So Holy Snails also carries a My Sheet mask line, Love Jude. And one of our masks, which I think that people will be really interested in this subject in particular, is going to be the Sexy Radish mask, which is one that we made to reduce irritation, calm redness, and soothe skin. So we are
Mm.
offering one free sheet mask with every purchase at Holy Snails.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your kindness. Yeah, I think we're all trying to figure out how do we start on this journey. And I think what you shared with us includes, just starting with that base foundation of how we cleanse, how we moisturize, and how we do the sun protection. And it was really cool to hear. Because sometimes when you think about K beauty, you say, oh, that's maybe just for Asian people, but it's good to hear that it's gentler products. And
Hmm.
so it incrementally helps us tackle our skin issues. Yeah.
Exactly.
So would you tell us a bit more of some of the important stuff you're working on? What gets you excited about the line of work you're doing? We'd love to support you. So is there anything you'd like to share with us?
It's been a really exciting year. My book came out in March, and I've been working on a proposal for the second one. But at the moment, I think everything that I do is exciting because I have found kind of this path where I'm allowed to just go crazy with what I'm actually passionate about, which is skincare. So we're focusing on the masks. I would love it if everyone who loves K Beauty and uses sheet masks tries it at least once, just to see the difference that something as simple as a hydrating treatment after your cleansing at night can make to your skin. And I just want to keep spreading the word. So ultimately, I think that what I often tell people that are trying to clear up their skin issues is go gentle first and see how little you can get away with when you're treating your skin. Because if something gentle doesn't work out, at least you haven't damaged it more and you can move on to stronger options. And people often are so surprised to find that it's actually the milder treatments that make the most difference to their skin.
Awesome. Yeah. So we have a question. What are your thoughts on the ordinary products? Uh,
I love them. So the ordinary I know very well. They're a perfect example of what I often tell people when I'm trying to help people decide where they can go budget friendly and where it might be more helpful to splurge. So Ordinary's products are really, really cheap compared to most other brands. And where that works out great is in their acids. So I use their 7% glycolic toner. I have their salicylic acid mask. And these kind of products don't need to be really fancy, because when it comes to something like chemical exfoliants, we know the percents that are effective. There's plenty of research. We know the pH that they need to be the most effective. Like there's not really any mystery or a lot of R&D that needs to go into it. it can be really simple and it'll do what it's supposed to do. So I almost always tell people, like, if you're just looking for an exfoliant or something like that, get the ordinary, because you can save a lot of money and then you can use whatever you save there on other products where it would make more of a difference.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it is that balance, right? Like we want to heal our
Mhm.
skin, but it could become a costly lifetime
Exactly. Like there's
project.
some brands that sell kind of active like AHA, BHA, vitamin C products that are really, really expensive.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of a couple. I'm sure anyone in this chat who shops Sephora knows which ones I'm talking about, like $80 vitamin C serums, like $75 AHAs. And to me, unless there's like a specific reason that you can only use that product, it's kind of a waste of money when you can get the exact same effects in a simpler formula for much cheaper.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's good to know. I guess the final question is thoughts about sheet masks. I know personally, I have heard that they're not great for acne-prone skin, but you obviously launched one, so you did quite a bit of research in figuring it out. Can you tell us a little bit more about the benefits
Yes,
of sheet masks?
that's a great question. So most people that I've talked to will see a lot of benefits from a sheet mask. Is it like instantly, really, really intensely hydrates your
Mm.
skin, which kind of creates that like really glowy, healthy look right away instead of having to like use some product for a month or so to see results. But if your skin is acne prone or sensitive, or you have any kind of like allergies or suspect that you might be sensitive to certain ingredients, then you do want to be careful. Pay attention to the ingredients. That's always something that I tell people, especially if you already know that your skin can be problematic with certain things. Don't try something new every single day with a sheet mask. I would say try one and see how your skin feels. If your skin can be kind of fussy, but that one worked out for you, then you know that you can stick to that one. But it's definitely a very individual case where you, the more that you put in the work to figure out what your skin is sensitive to, the more you'll be able to experiment and play around because you'll know what to avoid. And we
Mm.
made our sheet mask without a lot of the really common irritants, like there's no fragrance, there's no alcohol. And we did that on purpose so that we could kind of reach the widest amount of people.
Oh, that's great. We have time for one more question, and Maureen is asking, could you give a recommendation of like what's your daily routine? Like what are all the steps you take in the morning?
Yes.
Maybe they to
Morning
get ready.
morning is really fast. So I'll just wash my face. If I have an extra minute or so, I will use the NIAD copper amino isolate serum. It's a copper peptide product that's for skin repair, and I consider it as anti-aging. And then I'll put on a moisturizer. Which one just kind of depends on how my skin feels and how the weather goes for the day. So I rotate. I usually have one that's really light for when it's really humid. I don't feel like I need a lot of extra moisture, and then I'll have kind of a medium and a more heavy one, depending on how the day feels, and then sunscreen. So really, like ultimately, what I do every day is cleanse, moisturize, sunscreen, and then in the evening, I take a lot more time because that's kind of also like my winding down and relaxing time and ritual. So I'll take off makeup and sunscreen. If it's really light, I just use cleansing water on a cotton pad, and then my cleanser, which is always a low pH cleanser. I kind of am switching between the Holy Snails KD cleanser and the COSRX Snail cleanser right now. After I cleanse, I always use the BHA, the COSRX BHA, just on my nose. The BHAs are oil soluble, so they're really good for cutting through sebum in open pores to keep them clear. That's really gentle, so I use it every day. And then I'll either use a vitamin C or a retinoid product. After that, it's hydrating products. So like a hydrating toner, an essence, my snail essence. I always use the snail, a sheet mask, and a cream. And it's kind of the basics. And then the beauty of it is that I'm really familiar with how my skin is and how it can fluctuate. So I'll kind of add in or take out steps as needed every day as I feel that, oh, this is too much. I don't need that right now. Or I need an extra layer here or there.
Mm.
Hopefully that's helpful. I kind of switch out from a lot of products, so it's hard for me to like name specific products, and I'm also sort of careful not to give too many prescriptive skincare recommendations like you should use this product or that, because it really does vary. But if you guys are curious about what I use, it's going to usually all over my Instagram and in my Instagram stories, so you can see what's actually in rotation for me right now.
Great. Yeah, that's helpful. I will share the recording with everybody in case you, like me, were trying to take notes and you think you missed one or two. So you could listen to the replay. And also in the video, we'll have all the links on social media and the blog, how to connect with Jude. And then I think we have one more question. Sorry, we'll try to sneak in. Seems
Don't be
like
sorry.
someone was having too much of a good time, and so they would like to know how to repair your skin after going to bed with makeup on.
You know, don't worry too much about it if you're not making a habit of it. I do that too. Sometimes we get really tired or we've had a drink or two and we just need to go to sleep. Don't don't feel horrible and don't be worried if you just did it once in a while. When you get up in the morning, just make sure that you're removing it. You probably want to use like a cleansing oil for this to be really thorough and then cleanse as normal. If you do this a lot, then you repair your skin by not doing it anymore. Because it is important to cleanse at night so that we give our skin a clean canvas to put on the treatment products that we're using to improve our skin over the long term. And we also don't want to do it too much in case we're like clogging your pores or allowing our skin to get more irritated from having makeup products on all day and all night. So just don't make a habit of it, but if you do it once in a while, like totally fine. Nothing that's going to happen to you.
Yeah, our skin has some resilience, so that's good.
Exactly.
And one thing I have done, I have switched my makeup to just more natural makeup, makeup that has
Mm-hmm.
less of those harmful products, because we have been speaking to other guest speakers and they keep mentioning how the skin like soaks up everything. So we have to just be, exactly as you're saying, careful of certain ingredients that are in some of these products. So thank you so much for your time. I encourage everyone to check out the website and get yourself that free gift. You've all been part of Radiant Skin Summit. And so if you haven't already, check out the website, share with your friends so we can have more people join us and learn how to take care of our skin and be radiant for 2022. Thank you, Jude. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Bye.